This conference will now be recorded.
Have you heard that before, Casey?
Huh?
Yeah, it's for.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Mine did, I didn't hear
I
that.
got it, I just messaged it.
Why doesn't mine?
As if your mic's not on, it won't.
22, 57, 41. 27.
You were
There's a big
fine.
conversation going on Facebook. We don't have a tornado shelter, a public tornado shelter.
The old town hall be a perfect one.
Perfect place for it.
No, we'd have to have somebody get up there. And
Would you all please stand for the pledge? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I've done it too.
Okay, we will start our meeting with approval of minutes. Hello, Abby.
Hello.
uh,
Hey.
I've got a room to,
So you'll share that with you when you make your announcement.
Any motion, I
Or
should
I'm
check
gonna do
now.
it before that.
Any motion you do, because Abby's here voting remotely, has to be done by roll call. Unfortunately, that's the way the statute reads.
okay,
It's okay for her to vote.
I'm gonna make the motion to approve the minutes of February 24th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 I have to call names.
Each name, sorry.
Okay, Abby?
Yes. Aye.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
Aye.
Daryl?
Aye.
Myself, I. Dane?
Aye.
Thank you. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Announcements. I have a few. I want to share that we, council went to Terra Supreme Battery last week for a tour. It was very impressive. We had a really good time, enjoyed, got a lot of good education, and I think we're very fortunate to have that business in our community. So it was very impressive. We received an invitation to the Star Teams annual meeting on March 25th from 5 to 7. Abby, you had went to that last year. Are you interested in representing us again?
Tell me the date again. Sorry, I didn't see that invite.
March 25th. There's an email that came, I believe, on February 27th.
Okay. I'm happy to represent. Let me just double check what day of the week that is.
You can just confirm it later if you want to.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
I
all
can
right.
do that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I want to thank Chris for making plans for the Goodwill truck on May 9th from 9 to noon. Between her and the ARC, they will plan on getting that manned. We've taken that over since the chamber no longer does that, as well as Kelsey Gorsuch, who has volunteered to put out a garage sale listing.
What was the times?
9 to noon for the Goodwill truck on May 9th.
That's the same day as the spring cleanup too.
Okay. Kurt has an announcement to make about voting in Robert's Rule of Order.
Sure, this is, I apologize for doing this right up front, but I think it's important to do it before you vote on anything further tonight. Just to make it clear, we had, as you know, some discussion at the last meeting about breaking ties and whether abstention is a no vote, et cetera. So I wanted to clarify a couple of things, and in addition to that, I have a proposed ordinance, which you have not seen, and I apologize for that, but I'll explain it to you. And it's really short and sweet, and I think you'll hopefully appreciate it, that I would like you to consider adopting tonight. It's a repealing ordinance. So, long story short, and you can ask me as many questions as you want, including you, of course, Abby. The discussion was around the idea that if we have somebody absent, of course, and in this case, we don't have anybody absent, everybody's here. But last week we did, our last meeting we did, and if two people vote in favor of something and one abstains and one votes against something, is that essentially a tie vote because the abstention is a no vote? The long story short is the abstention is not a vote, is what I wanted to make clear, not a vote against. I used language that I think made people think that the vote is counted as a no if it's an abstention, and that isn't the case. An abstention, you just don't count the vote. It's a no vote, meaning it's not a vote. It's not counted. So for any instance, in a situation where you have 4 people present and 2 vote in favor of something, 1 votes against, and 1 abstains, it's 2, 1, 1, right? You don't count that one as a vote against so that it's 2, 2, which requires the clerk treasurer to break a tie. I just wanted to make that clear. And the other thing to, I think, point out is that because it was brought up that your marshal, which I greatly appreciate, pointed out that you may have adopted Robert's Rules of Order, which of course our recommendation is you never have Robert's Rules of Order because you don't have a professional parliamentarian, and Robert's Rules quite often, and in your case, runs contrary to statute. For instance, Robert's Rule says that the president doesn't vote except to break a tie. That isn't what the statute says. The statute says the president votes, and the person that breaks the tie, if there is a tie, is the clerk treasurer. The thing to understand is there can only be a tie if it's 2-2 in your setting, because it takes 3 votes of the members of the council, not of the ones present, to actually pass any action. And I brought that statute if you'd like to see it. The only time there can be a tie is if there's 2 votes in favor and 2 votes against a particular motion. You don't count one of those votes if one of the people that is abstaining. So you can never have a tie vote where there's 4 people physically present and 1 abstains. Does that make sense? So there can never be a scenario where Carol would break a tie in that setting. And I think that our discussion led us, even though we weren't confident and we were coming back to look at it, that could be a problem in the future. It's only the only opportunity there will be a tie is if there's 5 of you present, which there clearly is. 1 would abstain, 2 would vote in favor, and 2 would vote against. Then Carol would need to break the tie, because it takes 3 votes to take any kind of final action according to statute. Because it takes you can't have a majority of the members present, or even a majority of the members that are voting. It's a majority of the members of the elected body. So in your case, you have 5 elected officials. It takes 3 votes to have any action. Long story short is, you also adopted Robert's Rule of Order back in 1976, apparently. Scott pointed that out to me, and I'm very appreciative of that because it is horrible. You should not have it. I highly recommend that you repeal it tonight before you have any further action items, because it does say that the president doesn't vote. And of course, that isn't what the statute says. There's a lot of other things in there that are contrary to the statute, and having it on the books and records creates potential issues in the future that you clearly don't want. So I brought an ordinance tonight. You may pass it around if you want, and of course, you don't have to adopt it if you don't want. You've been functioning this way for many years without it. But unless you're going to follow Robert's rules and do it in a way that's consistent with the statute and have a professional parliamentarian that understands it, I see no value. In fact, I see contradictory value to having it on your books and records, and I would recommend that you consider repealing it immediately.
Are we putting that under new business?
You
Item
put it
one.
under whatever you want.
Item 0.
Could I ask a clarifying question? So Kurt, if 2 members of the council were absent, 3 show up.
2
So
members
there's-
are absent, they're not physically here, you got 3 here, and nobody's online, right? So they're not voting
Yes.
remotely, they're physically gone, they're virtually gone.
Yes.
Okay, so we got
We
3
have
people here.
3 present, therefore the council,
A unanimous vote,
but the council can meet.
absolutely.
Because just the majority of, it would have to take 3 members to meet. And then, but within that, they could still conduct business, but only if it's 3 votes to actually pass
Or
something.
an action item, so
Right.
they can conduct business here, have everything happen like you normally would. It's only when there's an action item is what the statute says. And Steve, I'm gonna give you this, just so, because you'll appreciate it, to look it up. It is basically 36-5-2-9.4A. And it makes it very clear that if there's any action items, to have an action item passed, it takes a majority of the elected members, not of those present.
So you could conduct business as long as one person is in against, as long as all three are in favor.
You can hold your meeting, conduct business, you just can't take any action, which would be a motion, resolution, or an ordinance. You couldn't do that unless you had unanimous approval.
As far as voting.
Yes.
What would happen if you didn't have unanimous approval at the meeting and it was 2-1? Then what happens after that?
Great question. The motion fails for a lack of majority, and it can just be put on the agenda for the next meeting, or you can have a special meeting within 48 hours and gather people together and get the requisite amount of votes. It doesn't prevent you from acting on it later. It just fails, which isn't terrible. You know,
If you have one abstain and 3 votes out of the 4,
that passes.
it passes.
Yes. I didn't want to leave you with the impression. If I did, I apologize greatly. I didn't want to leave you with the impression when I said that an abstention is a no vote, meaning it's a vote against. It is a no vote, meaning it doesn't count.
It's not a vote.
Thank you.
That's exactly how I like
I
that.
said it the
and
wrong way, maybe, and I felt like I misled you. It is a no vote, meaning it doesn't count. So it doesn't count for purposes of forcing a tie, is all I'm trying to get at. So I know that's.
I think all of our action items for the department heads are down, listed in new business. Are they? Terry, Corey, and Casey, are all of your action items covered under the new business list?
I'm just kind of come to me, but I was going to ask for permission to solicit quotes on a particular thing. I don't know if that.
We don't usually make a motion for that. We just give them our.
That's up to you. I don't know how you traditionally do it. If it takes a vote, then yes, you'd want to repeal this first.
Okay, let's just go ahead and take care of that first then. Just to cover
And I
ourselves.
apologize for not being able to get it to you ahead of time. I literally just got it finished. You can see there's an error on the last page. I've got the wrong date in there. It needs to be dated today. I marked it out with my pen. And of course, I would give you a clean version and get it for Carol for her minutes, so she's going to type it up if you pass it. The essence of the motion would be to pass the ordinance, and I've got a number on it. And that what the substance of it is repealing the Robert's Rules of Order for purposes of governing your conduct in your meetings.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Abby.
I was just going to say, can we take that under advisement and review it and then vote on it in the next meeting? Because I don't think anyone else has seen that until tonight, right? And it wasn't on our agenda, so I'm not comfortable voting on it.
Okay. Yep. You can. The dilemma, just so that you know what's the consequence of that, and you've been doing it for years and it's fine. It says that Vicky, as president, doesn't vote unless there's a tie. And I didn't like that, especially since we're running into the potential for another tie tonight.
Can I email that to her?
Yes, you may.
Is that the only copy you have?
I literally pushed.
So are we sure that it's been, nothing has changed since 1976?
I couldn't find anything, so I'm not sure, Abby. I took, thankfully, what Scott gave me. I confirmed that it was there, and I did not do an exhaustive search from 1976 forward.
It was mentioned
I
in
guess-
2016 too, but I think it was just confirmed.
I mean, let's just say that it was amended or repealed. The effect of passing this ordinance would be a nullity if it was already done. It would have been done twice. I actually, like I said, wish I had more time between last meeting and this meeting to confirm it. But I didn't. I just, when I saw that what was on your agenda, I was concerned that I didn't want to have the dilemma that we had last time without the knowledge, because because last time we didn't have the knowledge that Robert's rules was in effect. It's possible that you've repealed it, or somebody's in the past, and so what's the effect of passing an ordinance that repeals it? I guess it's essentially a waste of time, but it won't hurt anything. From a risk-benefit standpoint, I can't see any risk of passing the ordinance. I can only see the potential for risk moving forward if you continue to have it on the books. And so whenever you decide, whether it's tonight or 2 weeks from tonight or a month or never, really, I leave that up to you. I just didn't want to leave you with the wrong impression after the last meeting, which I felt like we didn't fully conclude that discussion. Because I didn't know you had Robert's rules last meeting.
What replaces it? Is it just basically the IC code and, which we would take under your advice as needed?
Yes, and I guess this sounds flippant, and I don't mean it to be flippant, but it's essentially the president's rules replace it. What does that mean? The president rules. The president decides what's on the agenda. The president decides who's out of order, who's not out of order, and that's statutory.
Carol, do you have any comments?
I have seen it. I didn't know we were doing this.
Well, we weren't, and I didn't give it to you, and you're right. So.
But do you have any comments about Robert's Rules of Order? Do you know anything that's changed since the document that Scott came up with?
I'm not, I mean,
Because I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
And
Abby, do you have something to say?
I guess, I mean, we have an ordinance that we follow that governs your role as president. And so I'm just not sure, since I don't know what we adopted back in 1976 before I was born. And then I don't know if that is just a guiding document that we were using for other operations, because the IC code would supersede the Robert's Rules of Order, correct? But Kurt is saying that we don't have that ordinance in place.
No, all
I know.
all I'm really saying is, Abby, the Robert's rules that you have on your books, whether it's been repealed or not, I don't know for sure, but it doesn't appear to have been, is inconsistent with the IC code. And so I don't understand the need for having it when you're not following. And you're right, you don't have to make the decision tonight. You've operated this way for years. I just didn't want to leave you without the option before you have action items, one of which relates clearly to this subject matter from last time.
So would your recommendation be, if we don't approve this tonight, that I not vote on anything tonight?
No, I would vote. The dilemma becomes if you don't repeal it and your vote, it becomes an issue, right? Then we have to think about whether your vote's valid. And I was trying to avoid that tonight. And it only really matters in the event of, like I said, a tie, because the way those Robert's rules that Scott gave to me that I looked at they provide that you can only vote to break a tie. Well, of course, we all know the statute says differently. It says the clerk treasurer votes to break a tie. So I was really more concerned that your vote would become an issue. So I was trying to eliminate that from becoming an issue. Yeah, like I said, I wish we had more time, and you can continue to just do what you're doing, and I don't think there'll ever be a problem, because in the end, as long as you have 3 votes in favor, that's what matters, right? It's where there's not 3 votes, or your vote counts as one of the 3, that becomes an issue, according to the way the Robert's rules read in your 1976 ordinance.
Okay, Chris, you had a comment?
Does anybody else have a problem with this one?
No,
Like that?
I do not.
I do not.
I do not. I wish that we would have seen it, but we haven't. So, but I would prefer the peace of mind, because we do have an item that we're going to vote on that.
And it's short, like I said, really the relevant provision is the first
Thank you,
section.
Scott.
So unlike most of the things you've seen from me, this is actually really short and sweet. So you could take the time to read it, discuss it, The only part I can't help you with, and it's relevant that Abby points out, and I agree with her, is I haven't done a search to see if there's something between 1976 and today that.
Right, but you said that would be new because
Correct.
this would just override that, so.
Like an updated date.
Right.
It would, yes.
Dane? You have an issue?
I'm okay with waiting, if that's what Abby wants to do, because she's not here. Doesn't really change anything in my mind. Been this way since 1976.
Yeah, if you wait, then I can change the date.
But this ordinance doesn't have a number on it either, so it just says 2026 dash question mark.
I didn't know how Carol did her numbers. I left it blank. The value in waiting is that if you want me to, and if you want somebody else to, people can search and see what's happened over the years and get an answer. I just don't have an answer. So,
Well, basically, it's already been written, so I would say no harm in having a more updated date if it's a duplicate. Would be my opinion, but I think the real question is, do we want to act on it tonight? So I would entertain a motion if anyone wants to make one. Or we can go on for lack of.
Well, I can't really make a motion because there's not an ordinance number on it. And I can't just say 2026 dash whatever.
That's an
you
easy
can
enough
read the
fix.
title.
I move we table it to the next meeting.
We have a motion.
She has a motion to table.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to table this till the next meeting. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Wait a minute. Dane,
Aye.
Oh, yeah, forgot.
Harold,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Okay. Carol, please put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, Kurt, if you send it to me, I can get it on our special asset training. paper.
Absolutely. I will email it to everyone. What I would ask then is somebody going to do the due diligence? Because if we're asked the same question next time, who and is somebody going to check from 1976 forward to see if there's anything new? And if so, can somebody supply that to me? Because I would hate that.
Oh, we have
My
a
question is,
we
is
have
that necessary?
huge book of codes.
I don't think it is, but Abby brought it up, and I don't want to ignore what she said. She said she wanted to know if there's been something that's changed since 1976. And I don't know the answer to that.
Abby, was your concern is if we were to approve it tonight, are you okay with?
I just wanted to look at what the ordinance says versus the Robert's Rules of Order that was adopted in 1976 and understand for clarification, because we've been acting in a way differently than what we're proposing. And so I guess I wanted to do my research, but if you need somebody to look into, from that time to now, I'm happy to do that as well. I might just need some help. So
I think it'd be worthwhile if we're going to table it, just a recommendation only. If you're going to table it, which you have, of course, it's just additional information that will help in addressing this issue. But I do think the issue needs to be either one way or the other. Either you're going to follow them and you're going to have a parliamentarian that knows how to do it, or you're not.
I can take the lead on that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Abby.
Mhm.
Any other open discussion? We will move on to our department head reports. Casey, Park Department.
Be getting workers back soon from the cemetery. Other than that, any questions, we'll be starting to clean everything up and, yeah.
I have one question on I thought who hit the wayfinding sign? Was it like a person?
At the cemetery?
The wayfinding sign that's on your scorecard.
For the park?
I don't know. which-
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that, you know what, we don't know, it was down,
Okay, so it was a hit and run.
yeah,
Okay, that's why there was a I didn't know if there was an insurance claim on
no,
that.
yeah, no,
Okay, so it's a hit and run.
correct. Well, yeah, I have no information on it, I came to work and it was laying there. So,
Any other cemetery questions? Okay,
on the park, any questions except for the Diamond Discovery Zone Committee? I will say on the 5Ks, they're gonna be, there's 2 5Ks, the park board approved, and they're gonna fill out the forms like they have in the past, the town forms.
oh, the
They're
event,
gonna be
event
requesting,
application.
yeah, you know, some town needs or town stuff, so, on the Channel Lakes one, I know there's gonna be baseball that morning, but, it's gonna be you know, they're not expecting a big crowd, 30, 40 people. They're gonna, you know, they know that there's gonna be parking lot's gonna be busy, so, they're gonna take out everything into consideration, so, yeah. Yeah, a lot of things going on. So if you have any questions besides the, Diamond Discovery, please ask. Actually, there was one thing we did call Scott Fetters called in on the prairie grass. This is the year that we're gonna do a controlled burn. He's recommending we do, at least half of it this year and rest of it next year. And he did send an email today, because, we had a park board member ask the pros and cons of it, burning it, and, you know, what it actually does. So he has a nice article on that. And Tiffany, our board member, works for the state of Indiana, and they do controlled burns, with their prairie grass also, and she has a lot of information on that. So, there's gonna be a notice put out on Facebook. We are hiring, outfit out of Bremen that does a lot of the state DNR, controlled burns. We're gonna let, Bob Amber know, we talked about that in our department head meeting, give him some notice. Hopefully we get at least, you know, a couple day notice on that, but the way, you know, it has to be dry and perfect conditions, so. So yeah, there will be a notice, and, yeah, we're gonna have a controlled burn at Hidden Diamonds on prairie grass. This will be the first time for 3 years. Any questions, besides the committee? Abby?
No, I'm in favor of using the trails for the 5Ks and think it'll be a good way to showcase the work that your team has done. I did wonder, are we going to waive that permit fee since they're nonprofits? Well, actually, the one is not, isn't it?
Yeah, they did not ask.
Okay, so
Unless I'm missing it, Abby, they did not ask in the letter on the email to waive it.
okay. Yeah, I
So-
didn't see that either. So I mean, I think, yeah, whatever, at your discretion, but yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Moving on to the committee, report, update for the Diamond Discovery Zone. We had a meeting today, and, just a quick update on where we're at. We've had, 9 grants submitted, plus RDC and CDIP funds, RDC. We've heard, back from 2 folks. One was a no due to being a capital project, and one because of restricted budget. We're presenting at the Lions Club in April or May, and the chamber dinner, on April 23rd. We've got flyers made for Noblepalooza, working on a banner and thermometer. The RFQ first publication is 3/11, second one is 3/18. The deadline to accept proposals at 4 PM on 4/17. We're gonna meet on April 20th to discuss the proposals that are sent to me. The park board will meet to discuss the committee recommendations and also bring it back to the council on 5/11 and 5/12. So a lot going on, a lot of grants out there. Jules, you want to give an update on anything? Yeah, we've got a lot of in motion. I think we're working on our DECO grant right now, and a lot out and a lot more to come. And yeah,
Well, it's kind of tricky because I typically give to the schools.
the STEM
So
projects.
the webinar thing he sat in on didn't really apply to us, so they wanted us to reach out.
Yeah, it sounded real favorable with the lady that was presenting to the school, so.
Good.
Anybody have any other questions for me? Okay. Casey and Jalissa, thank you for your work.
Thank you for your
The
support.
update. Mhm. Anything else for Casey? All right, thank you. We will move on to Albion Street Department. Jalissa, you're welcome to open that.
Has the council had any questions on the February 2026 monthly? Cemetery, we had 0 services. Street, we had 4 snow events. We able to start getting some of the brush picked up, some of the spring cleanup's done. And we're finally caught up on some of the equipment that malfunctioned, not malfunctioned, but need maintenance done to it through the heavy winter. That's really all I have, other than I would like to get permission to solicit quotes to repair a sidewalk at 207 West Highland that was damaged due to town trees. We've removed the trees, and the sidewalk is in desperate need of repair. So I need to solicit, I believe, 3 quotes according to the excuse me, procurement policy. And if I had to guess, I think we'd be around $5,000 to $7,000 to get that sidewalk repaired, because there's 2 trees there that are quite a bit damaged.
Are the trees gone now, Casey?
They are, yes.
Are you just planning to replace the sidewalk that did the damage there?
There's really no good stopping point.
It's had that big hump in it.
Yeah.
Because
So he
as
has to
soon
go
as you
quite a
get
ways
to a
either way.
decent point, it starts again where the other tree is some damage. So on the east side of it is a newer sidewalk from previous construction years. And when you get to the west side, it's still decent shaped sidewalk. So
Yeah, that's one of those areas that unfortunately,
I think that you need to do that whole section, because I walked that.
that's kind of what we determined, because we tried to, by the time you try to save a couple bucks, it's
Right. It's not gonna be worth saving a couple of bucks just for that.
That's up to you. I think that would pass. Normally, I would see it in motion.
That's gonna, if it's over 5,000, it'll be over his
Right.
threshold, so if it probably will be.
Okay.
You want a motion?
I think we should.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to fix the sidewalk.
Make a motion for him to seek
Yeah,
quotes.
I'm gonna make a motion to get quotes on the sidewalk where 2 dead trees were near 207 West.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Daryl,
Aye.
Zane,
Aye.
myself, I. Chris,
I,
Abby,
Aye.
okay, passes 5-0. Thank you. Anything else, Corey? Should we get to your action item in new business?
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else have anything? Thank you, Corey.
Yep.
We will move on to water wastewater department. Terry,
I'm sorry, before we do that, I have one thing. So the people that still have leaves would, if we put something out that said if they bagged them, would we pick them up on our Monday skip run?
Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
Okay, so if people bag their leaves, we'll pick them up on our Monday brush pickup,
Biodegradable bags.
biodegradable bags,
We
okay?
had a couple people calling this week.
Yeah, there's some people on Facebook wanting us to do a spring leaf pickup, but
Yeah,
I think we could just get that with our regular Monday brush.
good point.
Biodegradable bags, bag them up, and we'll pick them up. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Terry,
Has the council had a chance to look over the water and wastewater report? Questions? I would like to bring up a thank you for the ladies in the office. If you notice, we had one disconnect late payment this month, and it takes a lot of effort from the ladies in the office to mail out the letters and get on the phone conversation files. I sure appreciate it, especially in the cold weather.
this one is very low, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
heard
what I
you.
thought. Okay. Especially this time of year, I would guess.
And then I'd like to, the opportunity to mention that during the cold weather, and I know we got spoiled last year, but, the single digits and below zero, there's a lot of frozen water lines. And I think some of it could have been prevented if the homeowner would just put a little heat or just checked on their house every once in a while. Once it warmed up and then frozen pipelines let go, it made a mess in their house.
Was it a vacant house?
Yes, they were remodeled. And hopefully, we're coming into spring now. That's all I really have right now.
I want to know what we've seen, I remember when we bought this flex rate, okay, I don't know how many years ago, but it was
Also,
07. Gosh, really? 07. I really feel old now. So are you thinking, because you're saying you're having ongoing problems with it, are you thinking that it's come to the end of its life
no,
cycle?
they're dealing with it. A few months ago, we sent out, we needed this to be repaired. And I believe it was somewhere around $10,000. Actually, the repair has been done, but it's still has the issues, and they're still under warranty with that 10,000. They're working on that.
Okay.
It's running right now, but if there's a blink or anything, it takes 12 hours for it to get it to reprogram and start up.
Oh my God.
And it's something to do with the VFD on it. But they're working on that, and we have not, that invoice for that has not been paid.
So like, it'll be non-functioning for 12 hours until the VFD reprograms?
hard to reset.
And the hydrojet sewer at Highland Park Drive, was that,
Manhole to manhole.
just maintenance, or was there something in there?
I didn't hear any complaints, but it needed maintenance.
Okay.
Anything else for Terry? Okay. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Casey, I just come across a note I had made. Casey had invited someone to come tonight to receive a plaque, and he chose not to
Yeah, I want
to get the attention. So I want Casey to share with everybody that story.
Yeah, we had it on Facebook, but we got Eric Bunner a plaque. He's done the Christmas lights for 45 years. And so I'm gonna get a picture with him. He did say I could come out to his house and do a photo. I'll send it to Matt Getz. And yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He probably started with the JCs.
He did. He started with the JCs and my understanding, that used to be like the chamber. No?
The
It's a group
JCs.
of
Yeah,
guys.
no?
That's a
Okay, well, I was wrong.
organization.
I was a JC.
Okay, tell me what the JC was.
Junior achievement,
Okay.
basically. It was an organization of individuals that did community service, and part of that was putting up Christmas lights. JC's had a lot involved in originally getting some of the park stuff going. Baseball diamond down by the cemetery, Hidden Diamonds, Jack Owen, which
He was a JC.
Jack was a JC, but Jack was a driving factor or force. If Jack hadn't been involved at that time and some of the other people involved, we may not have what we have today. So they did a lot. Good Bradley. They did a lot.
So I will get that, my goal is this week to get that done, and I'll get that to Matt. And if he wants to do, anything with that, he can, and I'll share, information.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any other department head information? We will move on to old business. Having none? Oh, yeah.
Old business, I had an individual approach me this week, kind of want to know what the status was for the roads, how the condition was to town.
Rolling River.
Yeah, Rolling River Bluffs. And I told him, I said, at that time, I filled him in on where we were with that, but we had a recent inquiry where there may be some interest in doing some more work out there. But he was concerned about the roads. If we had anything scheduled for those roads, can you help me out on that? I didn't know what to tell him. I didn't think we had anything scheduled. I know we all want to do it, but I don't know what we have scheduled.
I don't know, did we ever accept those? Did we ever get that? Did we ever finish that? I don't really know.
Corey's saying, yeah.
We did. I know we maintenance them, but I don't know if we actually ever legally accepted them.
I think that's done, isn't it, Steve?
No.
No?
Yeah, I think we were, I thought we were waiting for something.
We were
from the
waiting
government,
on the
legal.
parcel
I thought he was
information.
through. We tried to get legals,
No,
and
this
we got
was,
everything,
this
so,
was just for the road.
but I don't know. I just remember the project I was put on, the guy withdrew. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I told him, hopefully I didn't speak out of turn. I said the council, everybody on the council wants to do something out there, but I don't know where we're at exactly on it and what the timing might be. So I know if you could kind of put that back on the list, at least to get an idea of where we have what we need. And I noticed in the email this week that we had renewed interest in possibly moving forward with some stuff out there. So
Zane and I don't believe we did that. That never
that never happened.
That never happened.
Corey, we've been maintaining those the entire
We,
time, but are they on our,
They're on our inventory
Mileage?
list now.
We don't have the legal documentation done.
Right, there was an intent, if I recall, on the part of the council to
Yes,
accept the
and
roads.
we do intend, we do intend.
But we
yes.
needed legal, we needed the, what's it, of the utilities or something, the right of way.
Legal description of the roads is what Kurt was desiring to move forward with an ordinance
Which
to draft.
would
They didn't
be
want to
by the LLC that currently owns the property.
Whoever wants them dedicated needs to be there. Because that would have normally gone through the plan commission process, like you have, which is a perfect way to do it. They're publicly dedicated at that time. Apparently they weren't back then, and so we were gonna try and do it retroactively with some sort of dedication, and I worked on it. I gave an outline, you've seen it, of what needed to be done, and that was communicated to the developer, and he said, I don't want to do it. That's my recollection.
He was actually in process of doing it, or, you know, the person, the surveyor, or somebody was,
Drawing legals.
they were either looking for it, they had it, or they didn't, or they were gonna do it. And then when the interest of that development fell through, so did the work on on his part of getting the legal description. And I thought it was more than just the road, though.
Yeah, and I did, bring it with me.
Road
In
utilities.
utility, yeah,
Yes.
wherever those were located.
I had
And
an
then
outline.
Terry wanted to make sure that he had easement back there. Is that service a lift station, Terry?
Just the main order.
Just a main
When
artery?
you guys have that committee meeting, is it March 24th or something like that?
Yes.
Hasn't been set yet, to my knowledge.
It was at the Public Works Committee, I think we had said, let's do it. There was a couple of
We
dates
haven't
and then,
received confirmation.
We
There was
haven't
2
received
dates proposed.
oh, okay, I
We
thought
haven't
I'm
received
sorry if I didn't send it, I thought,
Yeah,
I
I
know,
think we did get confirmation.
well, that's right, it's Keith responded back saying he'll have all the info to us on March 17, and he'll be at the March 20, the next council meeting, but
So you and Abby and Steve,
5 PM.
you could revisit that road, because Mr. Parrish, I believe, is gonna be in attendance also. I thought he was.
That was, that's what I understood that Keith was saying, because the interest is on his part as well.
Right.
And that he was gonna attend the meeting, so we'll see. But we can bring that up, yes.
So make a
And
note
it's,
of
and
that.
it's not, and just for the record, it's a kind of we're calling it like an ad hoc housing committee
Right.
of sorts. That, and it's gonna be Counselor Zane Gray and Counselor Abby Lindsay.
Could you send email notification confirmation to both Abby and I that that is the date? Because neither her or I have seen that.
Okay.
Steve, you, contacted the developer about some information that you guys want by the 17th
Right.
for the 24th meeting.
Yes.
I think it would be a really good idea to bump him about this street stuff,
Okay.
rather than tell him on the 24th and then you're waiting for it.
Good idea.
Okay.
If they plan, which they absolutely need to plan, that needs to be done.
Yeah. Corey?
I'm sorry to bring all that up, but I didn't know exactly what to tell him other than I know we discussed it. I know we're all in favor of doing something. I just wasn't sure.
You discussed it, you authorized it, we started working on it, and it got dropped because he didn't want to do it.
Right.
Okay.
So technically, we do not own that.
Well, you don't never own it, it's dedicated to the public.
We haven't dedicated it,
To my knowledge, you have.
no.
Okay. Well, that was easy. Thank you.
Because for many years before Corey got here, they were not even on our inventory, our LTAP inventory. So they are now, but they weren't before. So we weren't collecting revenue dollars for that. And now we are.
Corey, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you. To answer the question, I strongly advise, once they are officially ours, that they're on our inventory list for a few years. Because it would look very bad if we go to ask the state for money the first year they're on our inventory list. Normally, we would not accept stuff in that condition, but it's been, obviously, there's possible plans of development out there, so I think that's why we all agreed to do that. But it would need to be on our inventory for a few years.
I thought you said it was on our inventory.
It is, but it needs to be on it for a few years. I mean,
How long has it been on?
2 years, I think.
Thank you.
I'm thinking 2 years.
Well, and we also don't want to put a lot of money into the streets when there's development going on, because that's the only way in and out.
Right, Corey said that we would
Yeah.
address that afterwards.
So if it
Okay.
takes them, timing works out, and let's just say it takes them 2 years, which would be a long time, but time will catch up, and then boom, once they're done, and concrete trucks are done going in and out of there, then we can come in and dress them up. But I cannot stand when you put a finish coat, if it like those are asphalt, for example, you put a finish coat on something, and here comes, let's say, 80 concrete trucks. So,
Thank you. Just I have a little more information I can share with them.
Any other old business? Okay, moving on to new business. First item is consideration of the bid for the wastewater pump station project. We opened those bids at last month's, or excuse me, the meeting 2 weeks ago. Does someone from the Public Works Committee want to speak on that? Okay. We only received one bid.
I think you all,
We did.
you were all copied on the email from our engineers on their recommendation, correct?
Yeah, that was March 5th. We got that email, I believe.
And just for a little backstory, we weren't, was a couple $100,000 over budget. However, the budget numbers were from 2017-18. So in my mind, that's legit. Are you with me?
Oh, yeah.
Because this originally was part of another project that we didn't end up doing because of funding back in 17 and 18. The project was scaled down. So now we're back on this project. They put it off as long as they possibly could. So here we are now, the 400 whatever is now 643,000. So I believe Terry explained that to us in detail, and that makes perfect sense. And our
I also read
engineer recommends that.
I also read comments, I think it was from the engineer, but somebody said it was kind of a unique project because it's smaller than some would be interested in and not as large as others would be interested in. So that may have had something to do with
the one bid. And that's legit too.
One of the things that we talked about at the Public Works Committee meeting was this is roughly 150,000 more than what we thought it was going to be. And Terry and Aaron both described how this touches every part of our town. So everyone's affected by this. The funding sources that we talked about, Terry, was sewer or wastewater primarily.
Yes.
But with it being kind of 150 more than we thought, we wanted to have the discussion of whether or not it'd be appropriate to investigate 75,000 from TIP 1 and 75,000 from TIP 2. Because again, this affects everyone in the entire town.
Which we basically told Steve to put that on the next RBC agenda.
that's this week.
Yeah, which is
tomorrow.
next, no, tomorrow is BZA,
Okay.
and then the third, RDC is now the third Wednesday, which would be next Wednesday.
It's not going to affect the project, whether they award it or not. It's not going to make any, it's not going to keep us from pursuing the project.
Which, yeah, we haven't, in the wastewater budget, they have enough money to cover this project right now. It's kind of what you're alluding to, but because of the overs, it would be nice if we could utilize the funding.
That's where we are with that.
It all comes down to this appropriation.
Terry, did you have anything else to add to that?
No, I think. I don't know if you do. That's a.
What are you guys talking about?
If we have money appropriated.
This is a wastewater's is a non-appropriated.
From TIP.
No, we would have to redo that. And I believe Steve already sent an email to that effect possibly, because you're already redoing that for some other things, the TIF spending plan.
Right, that's gonna go to RDC next week as well, and I'm still putting the final touches on it.
If you have available, I would ask
Is the 75 and 150,000,
Yeah, we're
or
asking,
that revised plan now?
No, not yet, because they don't know about it.
Okay,
It's gonna be on their next agenda.
okay, thank you.
Carol, those funds are available.
If they're not already allocated somewhere else. But, I mean, it would have to come from probably an infrastructure line item in each one of the tip 1 and tip 2. If there's cash there, so if they were gonna spend everything they've already got appropriated, they'd have to do an additional appropriation. I guess I assumed that Steve was planning on moving funds from, had enough allocated in there to cover that. That's what you were planning on, wasn't it, Steve?
well, right, out of wastewater,
I mean, out of TIF.
out of TIF.
Yeah, wastewater is unappropriated.
Okay. Right, out of TIF, it would be in there, in the new TIF spending plan for 26. That amount will be in there specifically, the overage, 150,000, subject to RDC's.
In the already appropriated budget.
Here, let me look at the TIF
Right.
spending plan, because we do have infrastructure.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we do have infrastructure lines in the TIF
Right.
spending plan. I don't know how much is in them, but they're in there.
As long as you have money available to spend, appropriated money available to spend, award. That's true with any contract. And assuming Carol wouldn't have you awarded if she didn't have money available.
Okay, any other questions on that before we move on? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll do it. I move to approve the wastewater pump station project bid from, can you give me the name, please?
Burcott Inc.,
Burcott Inc. What was it, 600?
$643,025.85.
Yes, that's exactly my motion.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. I'll start. Aye. Zane?
Aye.
Daryl?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Okay, passes 5-0. Thank you, Terry. Okay, we are on to item number 2, which is consideration of our 2026 renewal agreement with 120 Water. This is the reference for the lead survey and lead, yeah. $12,940.
Thank you.
Is the contract amount.
I move to approve the renewal agreement with 120 Water, in the amount of $12,940.
Second.
Daryl?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Zane?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Okay,
And in our TIF spending, there's $200,000 for the function for 2026, 2027, and $350,000 in 2025
Matt?
in the TIF.
I have a question if the council has addressed, how they're gonna repair these lead lines once they've been discovered,
Once they've been,
identified.
yeah, identified. That's a good question for that guy right there.
They have to be removed.
Yeah, but who's gonna pay for it? Or is the council sought a loan, or I know there was money available for,
There is grant money out there, but the paperwork to get it and the amount of service lines, we have 0 service. we have goosenecks. They're 18 inches off the main, and we have to remove them. And at this time, we have 150 unknowns. And that's why 120 Water is working with us. And once we determine, I believe there's somewhere half of that are lead. And I believe Cal can do it in-house.
Did you guys catch all that?
Sorry.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, we will move on to consideration of the letter of engagement with Peters Franklin for the fiscal plan. And the quote on that is 24,000. Is that not to exceed, or is that a?
It's an estimated, it's not a strict not to exceed, but it's like, he says it's not expected to exceed. So it's kind of, you know, a really good estimate of the upper limit. And by the way, this came out of
This email stated 3/3.
discussions that we had like last year, and you know, about having the financial company do a really comprehensive financial study, and everybody was on board with it. I think Kurt was involved in at the time of recommending that it's a good idea. Carol subscribed to it, I subscribed to it, and then Peters Franklin gave us this proposal, and I'd like to thank Carol for bringing it back. Last year was not a good year to do it for numerous reasons, but this year it seems like the stars are in alignment that we should do it.
They've only raised their hourly rate $5. So there's from the June 23rd email of 25 until the email on March 3rd, they're still saying the $24,000 is a good estimate. And then Carol states that now that we have the 2025 financial report completed, that should help provide the data for the analysis.
And a little bit more fidelity on SB1. So this will give us a comprehensive review of kind of where we're at and what we think's coming.
I think we need that. I mean, Carol's done an absolute fantastic job of managing the town's money for years, but you know, we don't necessarily have a financial advisor on staff. And that's what these people are. So I'm gonna move that we engage with Peters Franklin Ltd. for the fiscal plan with the estimate of 24,000.
I'll second.
Chris?
Yes, aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Zane?
Aye.
Okay, passes 5-0. On to update on Kelty Tappy agreement. And this is for the roof project.
Should I wait for her? I have it now. Move forward, okay. So today, which is why you don't have it, but I'm going to leave it with you, and you're going to make copies, I'm assuming, for everyone to distribute. I have received what I consider to be the final version that needs our office's approval, and Kelty Tappy will agree with that as well. Of course, you have to look at it and decide whether it meets your approval, which is ultimately what matters, not mine or theirs. But I wanted to put you in a position where you have a final document. Our office and their office have reached agreement on terms. They're all outlined in here. We opted for using a standard AIA, which is the American Institute of Architects agreement. And the reason for that is because I believe that in using this type of document, I'm very familiar with it. I also believe that since they're an architect, not an engineer, they're also very familiar with it. They were pleased to utilize this form, so I know how it works intimately. I know how it sets out scope of work, their services, what they're gonna do, what they're not gonna do, those type of things, how they bill, and if there's disputes or claims or issues in the future, how we address those, all outlined very well, and there's a formal process to go through to address those. I feel very comfortable with the firm that you're recommending, that you've had me work on this. They've been very cooperative and accommodating to all of the requests you had. Their fee, I think, is consistent with what you've already seen in their letter agreement that they provided, which is $58,000. There are, of course, that like the previous one with Peters Franklin, that's not a hard hop in. It could change depending on scope of services, and so you have to, of course, pay attention to those things and make sure that you're staying within, because there are certain things that aren't provided. The biggest thing that's not provided, of course, is any asbestos, and you've known that from the beginning. To the extent there's any work that has to be done with that, they will coordinate that work. They will secure a vendor for you. You will look at that vendor and you will determine whether or not to sign the contract with that particular vendor. It will be a contract with you and the vendor, but they will make the assessment as to whether or not it's necessary, obviously give you advice and provide you with a proposed vendor to the extent that that is not included in their service. It hasn't been included in the prior one either. So that's consistent. Basically, what you'll want to do is go through and review it, but I'm ready to give you, and it says draft on it, and that's because the way these forms work, AIA forms work, is once you deem them final, you can't make changes. So we'll mark up these handwritten. If you have changes, we'll go back and adjust the document, which is in our system. And then once we hit final, AIA's proprietary language blocks it, and so we can't change it. So you have options. You may just table it and take it and read it, which is perfectly fine and acceptable. You can approve it subject to having it signed outside of a meeting if you feel comfortable, or you can, of course, reject it. But I believe that it does everything you want it to do to put you in a position to essentially bid out traditional bidding 36-112 specs and contract documents, notices, et cetera, which will be given to Stephen Carroll to publish, et cetera, with instructions and information on what needs to be done through Kelly Tappy. The contract documents will be worked through our office with their assistance as a part of their scope of services as well. And so it's, at least from my perspective, ready to go. Give it to Vicki, and she can make sure all the parties that she wants to have comments on, give her comments on them. And then if you have changes, let me know, and we'll make those changes and get them to Kelly Tappy. But from our perspective, it's consistent with their letter agreement. It's consistent with the project that you proposed, and it puts you in a position to competitively bid this traditional method.
Right, but you said that they're going to be bidding through Kelty Tappy, and they're going to.
Did I say that?
You said that they would pick us a vendor.
For the asbestos only.
Oh, that's for the asbestos.
If they find
Are they doing the asbestos assessment, or are they going to get a vendor to actually do the assessment first?
They are not going to do any asbestos work at all.
Okay, but they'll find
They are
somebody.
willing, if it's necessary, to find you somebody. You don't have to use their recommendation. They're just, it's not part of their scope of services. I just wanted to make that clear, so you're not looking to them to do any asbestos assessment or work.
But is asbestos assessment required?
I don't know, that's a question for them.
Okay.
But I put it in there so that, I don't know, those are architects, engineer type questions.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it clear that they're not doing it. If it's necessary, as Zane says, they will find you someone to do it. You'll have to ask them whether they think it's
I don't
necessary.
think asbestos abatement is done until it's discovered.
Yeah. And I don't think they're anticipating it, but I wanted to make sure you didn't go into this not knowing that you had somebody to look at it if you needed. It's not included in their scope of services. If you were expecting them to do asbestos, it's not.
I'd like to at least read it if I could.
Yeah. that's why I brought it.
Zane,
Yeah, I'd like to read
do
it.
do we want
Let's table-
copies of it and put it on hold till the next meeting since Abby's not here?
Yeah, I'd like to table it until the next meeting.
None of us have seen that.
Pardon me, will you email that to?
That's the problem, the way these proprietary documents, I can scan an email, but you can too. So if you want me to do that, I will. But
Can we
I
just
can't
make
email you a
copies?
Word version of it, so it's whatever you want to
Sure.
do. I just brought, I didn't stay.
Since we could then electronically, or you could electronically just send it to everybody would be one option.
I can do that.
And or we could give you a hard copy as well.
Do you have that capability here, Steve?
Well, we do, but it's a little cumbersome. I mean, the scanner function hasn't really been working. So what the end around it is where you got to use a USB. You can scan it into that. And it's just a little cumbersome, but yeah, we have the ability to scan.
I thought we got a brand new copier.
Not the copier issue, it's a network issue.
So
I'll
I can
work
go
on
back and literally drag and drop it into an email and send. I just didn't want to do it until I knew how you wanted to, and what you want to do, and who you wanted to.
As long as that's not $300.
It shouldn't be. That's why I brought it, because if you don't want me touching it, you guys can do it
We
yourself.
can do this in-house.
Yes, we can.
It looks like a lot of pages.
Question for you in terms of process, I guess. Because we're looking at signing this, getting the ball rolling. We're not appropriating until 2027. So you see where I'm going
Yeah, I
with this
do. I'm
question?
so glad you're asking that question. You remember, you cannot award a contract, sign a contract unless you have money appropriated. That's state law. So we have to back up from there. So you don't have to be in a rush with this. I just wanted, it's always on your agenda. You wanted to know the status of it. It's ready. It's ready when you're ready, but you should not, I have this set up for September, what date? 2027 project. Let me see if spring of 27 is what I have set up for this to be bid out. So I don't know your budget cycle. I mean,
We're budgeting in the summer of 26 for 27 construction.
Well, yeah, finalizing in September usually is when we finalize budget, correct, Carol?
So you won't have appropriated, approved monies available until when?
September 2026, which would be appropriated for
Well, if
27.
you want to get technical, not
I do.
until the DLGF approves the budget.
Well, I'm not the one that wants to get technical. You're the one that's subject to the State Board of Accounts review. If you want to know
We've
what.
never had a big problem with
Well, then I
knowing we
guess
were
you do
gonna
whatever way you want.
appropriate
I'm
something
telling you
in
what the
the
statute says. The
ensuing
statute
year.
says you can't award a contract unless money is appropriate. You decide what that means in your world, I guess.
Well, we're not
I have this
awarding,
set up for September.
we're not
for spring
awarding
27.
the contract to the roof vendor until 27.
Well, if you bid this out, they're not gonna hold those bids, is my point, for the 6 months. They're gonna hold them for 60 days.
Right, we would bid this out. This is just authorizing the architectural proposal. And then I thought they were gonna pick a strategic time when it would be best to
That's
bid,
correct.
which is typically either the fall or, right in the new year.
All that's true, as long as you have money available to award a contract. Because these bids are only gonna be good for 60 days. And so that's why you have to think about the timing of it. And it all comes down to when Carol feels comfortable that the money's available. And if she's not comfortable that the money's available until February of 27, then you probably shouldn't set these bids up to be awarded until February of 27, which means you want to direct Kelton Capping on the timeline. That's all I'm trying to say. I don't care when you do it, but you can't award a contract legally until the money is available. It can't be
I
available.
don't want to wait until February. We have got to get a roofer on their, we got to get on their schedule, okay? So, if we have to wait till January 1, for instance, fine. But I don't know, Carol, have you ever been asked by the DLGF to
It's a state
cut
law.
your budget,
To what?
cut your appropriations?
We usually don't pass, submit a budget that we know needs to be cut.
Right, I know, because you're responsible in that way. I'm sure other.
So all I'm saying is this isn't a real big rush for us to approve this. Because even once we approve this contract with Kelty Tappy, we're at least waiting in my mind until September before the ball starts rolling on this, in terms of them getting involved.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you were ready for it, and so that's the reason for presenting it. You decide the timing based on when the money is available.
Yep, absolutely.
Just know that this will generate a contract that's gonna be available for 60 days, and that's it, then it expires.
Okay, are we ready to move on?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, item number 5, CCMG 2027-1 project. We need to determine the type, concrete or asphalt, and the scope of the proposed roads in the village of White Oaks in one application or multiple applications. So we tabled this from the last meeting, and we need to make a decision so our engineer can keep moving along and know what we want.
I have input from 2 families in the village of White Oaks. We need to name them.
You do that.
They would like to see concrete. One family said that, if it becomes a financial issue, you could repair it in small sections. And then when those small sections are done, or we run out of money, then we can wait, repair the rest. But I think ultimately they would like to see concrete. Ultimately, I would like to see concrete because, it's kind of like having bad drywall and putting paint on it. You got bad drywall, you put a coat of paint on it, you call it good. Well, that's not good. It's breaking up structurally. It needs to be cut out and repoured. And I think even though it costs more money, that the concrete out there to mow in sections has lasted over 30 years. Now, there's been some sections that hasn't, but that was a generation or a progressional thing where at one point in time they paved it, and then they paved another section, and they paved another section. But my road into that division was the first road that was poured, and that's over 30 years old. And there's some parts down by Zane's house that needs to be, and then in front of my neighbor's house, and I got one area that's an issue, but if I don't get that fixed, that's fine. Fix the worst spots first. But the 2 people that talked to me today would like to see concrete. I would like to see concrete.
You weren't here at the last meeting, so.
Yeah.
Right, so what we talked about in the last meeting, just FYI, is, they cut the CCMG program way back, and then they capped it with a much lower dollar amount. So we're worried that the program is not going to continue.
Okay.
And Corey, please speak up any minute. Corey said we were lucky to have been awarded this CCMG project.
Not only any grant, but the amount that we got.
That's right. So you did a much better speaking job the last week on the CCMG education.
Yeah, we talked with Lana and other communities. I think we were one of 9 to actually get an award for 2026. I can't predict the future, but if I was a betting man, my odds aren't big on being awarded for 2027. However, we're pretty good crossing our T's and dotting our I's here. And we're pretty good, whatever monies are not used on the projects goes back to the state, so that keeps us in good standing. But we're not the only community that does that. And and they didn't get awarded this year. So my fear is I don't want anybody to get their hopes up and think we're gonna get 2027, because I'm planning on us not to get it. I'm hoping we get it. I'm planning on us not getting the award and it being spread out for other communities. There's been some talks of some upticks and some changes to try to get it back up, but I don't think we'll ever have it back to where we were 2 or 3 years. I could be wrong. I don't work in the governor's office, so.
And what about the engineering, Corey, on the concrete versus the mill and overlay?
As far as,
I mean,
I don't have the pricing.
no, not necessarily the pricing, but the timeline of it. Landon had
When I
expressed
spoke
some
with Landon
concern.
last Friday, he said it's gonna be very, very close to engineer concrete by the
Deadline.
July, deadline at this point.
And there's more involved, right, with the engineering of the concrete? Sure. Versus asphalt, but it's a little over double the price as well, the engineering. With the asphalt, Landon's given us a price of, 68 comes to mind here. 68,000, and then for the other, if we go the concrete route, it's 152,700.
Right, and that's money out of your pocket, whether you get awarded the CCMG or not.
Well, the other thing that Daryl brought up, if in fact, if the council was interested in phasing this, if you went full reconstruction with concrete, but phased it, well then, you know, their engineering, it's a different engineering proposal at that point.
All I did, but what Landon quoted us is what we asked him to do. Full depth reconstruction and concrete, and then asphalt mill and overlay with geo fabric. To be fair, there's other options to do. I think we presented about 6 options last meeting, and there's many ways to do it. But
But if you look at like down there by Cougar Court, which is asphalt over concrete, okay? But it is not a 3-inch depth.
Right.
So I'm assuming that some stuff has changed since that was done.
I wasn't here when that was
Right, you
done.
were not here when that
I
was
don't
done.
know if they mowed it or not. I know that other section will be what we call stuff mill.
There's a big fat email here dated, let's see what it's dated, it's got 8 million threads, 2/13, that gives you the concrete estimate per section and the asphalt estimate cost per section. So if you scroll down many, many moons, there's a big table there that Landon has provided us. On every section in the Village of White Oaks. Which I'm assuming, Bob Lancaster, that's why you're here.
I'm a little bit behind on things. I guess my first question is, if it's concrete, does that mean taking the concrete all out?
No.
No, in
Yeah,
any case, you're not taking the concrete out.
If you do an asphalt mill and overlay, the concrete just come down 3 inches, and then they asphalt over it with geo.
And if it's asphalt, basically the same thing?
No, if the council decides to go concrete route, it's full depth restoration.
That's good. If it's.
Correct.
Meaning the whole road
If
would be
we
tore
decide
out.
we can't afford that, we go asphalt, they will come in and mill down 3 inches from your curb and gutter out, and then replace curb and gutter as needed. And then put a geo, I think we call it some kind of geo grid down and then asphalt over.
concrete's the way people wanna go with it. You're taking all the concrete out, putting new concrete in.
If we choose that proposal.
He has here, Corey, though, in his thing, on the mill and overlay, he's got the milling at 1.5 inch with the overlay of 1.5.
And it should be inches.
I mean, that's what this says right here. These estimates are all based off of that. It says it's assumed that 10% of the curb and gutter would need to be replaced.
Any road and street, even a parking lot there. The history of that, and I've been around them a lot, it's at least 2 inches base, 1.5 inches of finish.
This says mill and overlay, milling 1.5 and overlaying 1.5 inch. But it does have the geotextile, dollar amount in here also, our geotextile. But the milling is only 1.5.
Bob, if you had your choice, what would you want? Well, the newest part out there is all asphalt. Personally, I don't care one way or the other, but to me, the asphalt sounds like, as long as they do it properly, get enough base there to hold trucks and stuff going in and out there. Put all the whole White Oaks the same way, so it all looks the same.
So if it's asphalt, it won't be that though, Bob. So,
Eventually it could be though.
so the part that they, did in 2018, like basically from Phil Jacobs down to Casey, that would have to stay concrete because there was grant money used to do that.
How about the horseshoe? Is that part of the project?
Yeah.
That is?
Mhm.
My only concern, you guys, I was there when they started working on the new addition part of it and getting the piping and everything else in. And that ground underneath the part you're talking about, that's not good.
The one where they replaced the concrete?
Yep.
Yeah, that had a underground spring.
Still has.
Yes, I would agree with that.
That was eroded out. That's what caused the road to fail.
That's right, but the spring is still there.
You guys are all pluses and minuses of both. We went through this the last meeting. I mean, at the end of the day, if you look 45 years down the road, you're probably gonna be in it monetary wise about the same. One of the concerns is, I mean, obviously, if we choose concrete, we can't do it all in one segment. We do asphalt, we can, but if you guys decide you want to do concrete, for example, I brought up, we could do from on Village Drive from Taylor Lane this year. And maybe still touch and go on other stuff through town. Another thing is, in all fairness, we're looking at $800,000 to $1.8 million. So you got that too.
Is any of our like sewer and water actually under the street, or is it off to the side?
It's underneath it,
It's underneath the street?
the majority of it.
Well, then that's another issue, because maintenance on on a concrete street, if there's underground work, is gonna be very expensive in the future.
The big thing is here is we have to actually make a decision today because we cannot hold off our engineering firm any longer. Are you with me? He has to get started on this
If we
project
want
now.
to apply for 2027.
That's correct. He has to start on the actual engineering now. So, whether you're risking 152,000 in engineering dollars and not getting the CCMG, or you're, the other one's the asphalt, I don't know. All I know is we have to make a decision today.
And then we have to tell them today, concrete or asphalt.
Right, because we are not gonna pay him to do 152 one way and 68 the other, because we're gonna tell him which one. And if we don't get the CCMG, then we still have to pay that money regardless.
And no matter which decision you guys make, we still, Kevin and I both decide we still want to add some drainage in 2 areas out there, also spot repair curb and gutters and sidewalks if need be. So no matter which way we go, we're still going to add 2 storm basins.
And the engineering doesn't go to waste, even if, you know, if we don't get the grant, let's say, then it becomes a shovel-ready project for maybe the next grant cycle, or if we need to do it on our own, you have to have it engineered anyways.
You do, but A, it would be on a different scale, and C, and B, it would be inflated for inflation. You know, the dollars would change for sure, year to year.
The sewer lines, the water lines, the gas lines, they're not in the right of ways, they're underneath the road out there.
Well, at least 80%. So down the road, something happened to a water line or a sewer line, and you got concrete, they're gonna tear up a lot of concrete. Well, in theory, you're still gonna have concrete. Sewer line going pretty much down the middle of the street. There's still gonna be concrete. Well, yeah, I mean, you'll be replacing, but I mean, it'll be a lot more expensive, isn't it?
To repair it, I mean?
Yeah.
Like backfill with asphalt versus backfill with concrete, you know what you mean?
Yeah, it'd be.
Want to repair?
Yeah, but you said that they're only gonna go down an inch and a half, so they're still gonna have concrete there.
You can clarify that with them.
I was probably saying 3 inches because once you set your mill up, you might be at 1.5 here, you might be 2 here, you might be 3 down here. It's gonna follow its true.
This email is dated February 11th,
Yep.
just in case you want to ask about it.
I remember. In fact, that's all I've been thinking about, I think, for about the last month.
All right, so, you know, instead of him on around, let's make a decision.
Well, I'm gonna point out the obvious, sorry, but the white elephant in the room, you've got the roof costs coming up, got interior remodeling that we haven't addressed. So, you know, something to consider, the finances as well of the town and where this would put us. You know, if we did an $800,000 project, you're kind of $1 million less than if you did it in concrete. And where could that $1 million go? To this building.
I have no doubt, I mean, I absolutely know that those streets out there need some attention, but I also feel there are a lot of other areas in town that are probably more deserving of some attention. So I'm just not comfortable going the concrete way, more than doubles the cost of the project, just basically for that reason. I know people have their preference, but in good conscience of funds, I just can't see that.
See, the CCMG is capped at 1 million. To do the Village of White Oaks project, it'd be 1.8 million, 1.842 million. So that's why you'd have to chop it up into much smaller bites, hoping that you would get it, because if it's, we can only go for $1 million and we still have, what is it, 20% we pay?
Yeah.
Right, so that's still 200,000 for us. Whereas if you asphalted the entire sections out there, instead of 1.842 million, it's 812,000, which is still below the 1 million CCMG. So we can still actually add another $200,000 project to our CCMG application.
Or more to allow for, in case the bids come in like it did this year, lower than the estimated cost, which this year we left grant money on the table because of that.
Not intentionally.
Right.
Right, so I'm just gonna have to side with Vicky on this, so there's my opinion. And Lord knows, everybody knows I give my opinion.
It's your opinion, Mr. Gray. Councilman Gray.
I'm gonna abstain from voting on this, like I said last meeting. I don't feel that me sitting on this, council, I believe there's a conflict of interest in what I want versus, me sitting here. So I'm gonna abstain from voting on this one. So that last council meeting, and we stand by it today.
You weren't here. You weren't here. But he stated that at the last meeting.
Oh.
So we're going to her.
Yeah, you gonna check out that 1.5 versus 3 inches?
Yeah, because that's gonna raise the cost. So let's just, two things I do wanna say. That's gonna raise the cost. If he's quoting 1.5 inches and we're doubling it, so that's gonna raise the cost. That's number one. The other side of the coin on doing partial replacement, if anybody's went out there, I would say not all of the roads in White Oaks need replaced.
I agree with that.
So this piecemealing proposal, I know it's seen as being unfavorable to some, but if you actually go out there and kind of look at the state of roads in certain places, I don't necessarily agree that all of them need to be replaced right now. So there's that too, for everybody to consider.
It'd be done by priority. It wouldn't just be started this end and go to the other end.
And I don't know if you guys could hear me very well in the last meeting because I was having issues with my house or what, but that was kind of option 3 too. If you can't make a decision, or if you decide you want to do concrete, thing is correct. Not everything needs to be done. I personally like, if you just tell me you want to do concrete, I personally want to do, like I said, Village Drive from Taylor Lane next year, go down past Casey's house where we're starting to have some issues, and then we might be okay for 10 years. I don't know. I mean, wish I had a strong recommendation.
The Taylor Lane to Taylor Lane is 832,000 concrete. But I guess I probably, I wish I would have known that from the last meeting.
But that's, yes.
I wish I would have known that you said that the whole road wasn't bad.
Yeah, so like Village Drive from Taylor Lane to Taylor Lane is what you need to look at. That's 296,000. So you're reading the wrong line there.
It's Taylor Lane all the way around.
Yeah, but
That is really bad shape.
But the worst section is from Taylor Lane down the hill to the other Taylor Lane. That main strip right through there on Village Drive.
Because he said Taylor Lane all the way around.
Or he said Village Drive from Taylor Lane to Taylor Lane.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
Well, I mean, can you actually say on a CCMG application that you're only gonna do a 200-foot section here and a 200-foot section there and a 200-foot section?
And another option, probably not going to hear this, but if we don't want to make a decision on this tonight or even this year, CCMG allows you to apply for crack sealing and micro sealing and maintenance of roads. So you can pretty much, we can only afford a block for a year. That's what you put in for your application, which a lot of communities operate that way. We're very fortunate here. We can come in and knock out a bunch of stuff. Not every community has that luxury.
Are you combining
And
one
like
and
what
two?
Bob was saying about it, if it's right, if we mill 3 inches or 1.5, yeah, we could set our standards to 1 or 3 inches, but I'm kind of going by what the engineer recommends and what they propose. So
You're only
a lot of
talking
times,
400
like we went on and tried to do a 2-inch mill on
396.
East Hazel, and we started getting down into bad days.
I don't know, do you know how deep that concrete is or how thick it is?
No, I don't, no.
When I watched it pour that going up that hill there, at the most it could use 4 inches. They used to do it for us.
not so much us, but the other thing is they run into is when they get down to that 3-inch milling, then everything's busted up at the bottom.
The rest of it's busted up.
Yep. Which we had to make that adjustment on, like I said, East Hazel, we got going where we wanted to get down to 2, we had to bump up to 1. And then make the adjustments then, because unless you do core samples all the way through, you don't exactly know what's every single spot.
Are you saying, Bob, that that concrete's only 4 inches thick?
Runs to the force to form it up. I was there. We were building our home.
I think this actual conversation is getting worse than better.
And
I hope I didn't throw a wrench into it.
I know, but the conversation's getting worse.
not to, this might make it worse, but I'm just going as devil's advocate here, just being honest and doing my job. We don't have to decide on this one this year. We can work on this, chew on this for a year, work on something else. We can go out and patch everything again, and we're gonna have to patch it again this year anyways, but.
Yeah, you're gonna have to repatch down there, because the patch is coming up already.
Oh, yeah, we gotta do it every year because we just scrape everything off when we plow and, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
And that's that main thoroughfare through there, gets some traffic.
Do you have a plan B if we,
Ooh.
See, A, B, C.
You would just, I mean, number one, we'd have to ask Land to start engineering on something else again, or get us a quote on engineering on something else. So let's keep that in mind. I know we kind of have the square on our minds, but that's something I wouldn't mind waiting on until they're done with construction completely, because now they're gonna put a roof on that. Is that correct, Casey? There might be a roof on the courthouse.
Now, if I have anything to do with it.
If Casey doesn't have anything to do with it, we won't have to worry about it, but if they do put a roof, then they're gonna be out there tearing up not tearing them up, but I would almost rather wait to do the square once the State Road 9 project's done, once the county is completely done, everything they're going to do or wanna do, and then boom, we come in with the nice, clean touch-up job and be done. But
Okay, so Zane's saying that the worst section of the Village of White Oaks is from Taylor Lane to Scott Street, 396 feet.
That's where we put most of our material, and if you go down past Casey's house, get towards Fay Court, is another spot where we put some material.
Okay, so the section that Zane's talking about, to concrete that section is $294,000. And the Fay Court section is only 151. So you're still under 450 right there. So let's just say that if we did section 2 of Village Drive in concrete and section 3 Fay Court, that adds up to about $450,000. What would you propose for the other $550,000? Where would you move on in your capital improvement plan?
Those numbers are accurate. Number one decision is, are we doing full concrete out there or asphalt?
I'm talking about concrete on
Could you do
those two
concrete?
sections.
Well, if those numbers are accurate, we could do by Zane's house and start down along Casey's house heading Fay Court. Or we can go out and just spot section everything.
Right, it's the Taylor Lane, from Village Drive to Village Drive that takes it over. That's 832,000.
Yeah.
And it's $1 million, all the other sections combined.
Right. I mean, if we want to piecemeal a little bit out there, we can always jump over into some other sections and do some things, but I want the council also
let's talk
realize.
about moving away from this, addition, somewhere else completely.
Want another wrench tournament?
Oh, do it.
Northwoods Estates.
Say it again?
Is that Northwoods Estates or Northwoods?
Yeah,
Woods Estates?
Yep. That needs some
Guess
help.
what, guess what
So
that
does
road-
Elm Street.
Guess what that, yeah, Elm Street, guess what those roads are? Concrete.
Right, and they're long.
And
Very.
truth be told, they're as in bad shape, if not a touch. We don't put as much material out there, but it doesn't get the traffic activity that the Village Drive gets. But they're not in the greatest shape. That's the unfortunate thing about concrete. You'll get 30 to 40 years out of them, but when you go to repair them, it is not cheap.
But you did section of Village Drive at 400 feet and the Fade Court 240 feet. You're at 450,000. You still have $550,000 left. You could move to Northwoods Estates Elm Street, which is the street that runs beside the baseball.
One-way street.
Yeah, the one-way street, which is in terrible, absolutely terrible shape too. So you'd still have $550,000 to move to a different spot if you only attacked those two sections in the Village of White Oaks that were the worst. Which that's making this conversation even more complicated. But hey, it's
And
our
always
money,
keep in mind the precedent.
right? It's our money.
So.
$152,000 of engineering scares me to death to know that we might not get the CCMG because we've been so blessed. I don't think we've ever not gotten a CCMG.
Well, and would the $152,000 of engineering change if we were doing some out at White Oaks and then doing some of those other projects? Wouldn't that add more costs to the engineering?
I would
Or
say
not?
it would still be, if we're still gonna use concrete, that number is still gonna be right around that. If you're still doing the same footage with concrete, it should be. The only way the engineering would go down is if you switch to asphalt.
Yeah.
But if you're still planning on being at that $1 million range, you know, for the CCMG grant, which is what he took into consideration when he did these bids.
Corey, you mentioned a little bit ago about the, basically what's upkeep. In my mind, that's what I see it as, qualifying for CCMG. What kind of engineering is involved in that kind of stuff?
Just probably assistance on, final state. I would say it's not, you're not gonna have full depth engineering, and they're just gonna assist us on our grant process. I would advise they assist us on our grant process. So, for example, let's say we wanna rejuve West Hazel and Walnut. Okay, that's what we wanna do. We tell Landon assists us on how to do it. I've never actually done that. I know you guys have rejuve and microsealed in the past. I've not done it here. So I don't know if things have changed. I know not any British motion will exaggerate the roads anymore, but we will still need a little bit. I don't think we'll have $150,000 in engineering that goes spray some make oil on some roads, if you will. But
Because if we're talking the 450,000 to do concrete in those two areas where it's really bad, then that leaves a lot of money.
Sure.
To put.
Some communities, this year, for example, I can't remember, only one community, that's all they did was just maintenance. They're crack sealing and micro sealing. They're not doing any construction. They didn't have the funding to do it. We have a crack sealer, so we try to keep doing crack sealing as much as we can.
The engineering cost would go down if we only chose to do those two sections though.
Yeah, if I call land and let's say, for example, if the council decides they don't want to do asphalt, they want to do concrete, but only Village Drive from Taylor Lane to Taylor Lane, I have to call land and ASAP tomorrow, say, okay, this is what they decided. And then we will have to get another proposal on what that would be. Because I don't remember if he broke down street segments.
He did.
Did he?
Yeah,
For the engineering cost, he did as well.
He did.
I included the items 2 and 3 on his proposal, but he has Village Drive, then he has Village Drive again from Taylor to Scott Street, then he has Taylor Lane, then he's got Bay Court, and then he's got Village Drive. So Zane's saying that item number 2, and which he has 2 of them labeled number 2. I'm talking about the first one. And then item 4, which he has really labeled number 3, is Bay Court. Those are the 2 that add up to the 450,000.
Which ones add up? The number 2 Village Drive and the number 3 Bay Court?
Yeah, those are the 2 that
3
Zane
and
is
450,
saying
yeah.
are the worst.
And the only thing they've considered is mill and overlay, that's it, to this point.
No, the concrete is up top, the mill and overlays at the bottom. The same streets, but the concrete numbers are on the top grid and the asphalt numbers are on the bottom grid. And you're talking 635 feet of concrete for 450,000. You can look at this if you want. Can you find it for you?
Yeah.
Carol.
I'm in February, but not in March, because it wasn't in March either.
Yeah, this goes way back. This is the thread that started 1 million times ago.
Are you guys looking at the same thing that they're looking at? The 2
I got my,
rows of estimate?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, up 2025.
I want to go, no, I want to go.
So Corey, if we were to spend the 450, commit to that, how confident are you that you can come up with another $550,000 worth of projects to try to max out our?
I'll help you. Proper scene.
I mean, is that going to be extremely difficult?
Yeah. Concrete roof.
Well, the last one was 213, but it started way back.
I just have this fear we're going to get all or nothing.
Email started way back.
Yeah.
If our number, you know, if our luck runs out.
When they pour concrete, they do it sections anyway.
Right.
So you can go where around Taylor,
Not just for.
whatever that number would
Not
be.
dumb it down to.
See, I don't-
They got a form.
Point A, point B. We can go in there, cut the joints out.
Right, yeah.
And if you look at that, Taylor Lane, around on the east side, the horseshoe, that's all broken up. I mean, it's not
I don't know.
just cracks.
Right.
Think what we
And
do
it
now,
was that,
we can
I
talk
didn't
about
see
it.
that. Catch
Well,
this.
it's just at the
Front of,
So to put it in perspective,
Wait.
for slabs,
where that is,
like patio slabs that 4 inches
up to
thick.
me, is that kept?
So
For a
how-
patio slab.
Yeah, so like how much?
Driving trucks.
No, we're gonna have.
So, for driving trucks, like IMT stuff, they normally recommend.
Across from the. Big floors.
See them building these.
Right next to the water.
I've traveled 20 from Goshen to
Well, they have a lot of problems.
every day when they were doing that. That was Florida. Weather stuff, yeah.
Doesn't catch a look.
I'm very involved.
But it needs,
I don't
We barred
remember.
through it, the whole thing.
I'm saying that.
Well, we've seen the bridges that they pull in, right?
I don't remember seeing that broke out like that.
Yeah.
Granted, they have semis every day, but still.
Like in our shop, we're driving one of those, you know,
Yeah.
we're driving a big 26,000, 30,000 truck.
North Woods.
Right.
What was that?
Zane, I know you're not gonna say it.
But-
But what's your thoughts on
Decisions, we have a
concrete?
decision.
I don't know.
U-shape.
I don't know what
I
happened.
thought
Or
probably
on
on
the streets or?
Doesn't matter what we do.
what I think people probably don't want to hear.
We're not gonna.
We're not.
I guess I'm fine with whatever. It's not a big deal.
If it's
I
not.
just know that concrete's cracked all the way through, it's cracked really bad. You just put asphalt over the top of it, you're just covering up the problem. That's my thoughts. That's the only reason I like concrete, but they have a good opinion that if, you know, if in fact that most of the utilities are buried under that concrete, and you ever have a problem, that's gonna be a lot of money to cut all that concrete and take it out.
Hopefully you wouldn't have, I mean.
But you're still gonna cut concrete because you're gonna have.
You're not putting it back down, so there's that. But hopefully if there's a problem, you're just one section, you know what I mean? Like maybe you're taking out 6, 8 feet of concrete or whatever.
I understand you indicated you're abstaining, and you've done that before, and that is perfectly fine. I just want you to know legally, it's not. It may be morally and ethically one that you feel comfortable with, but it's legally you can vote. Okay, all right.
Yep.
And I won't bomb your place.
I got my neighbor here, I've gotta like watch what I say.
I understand.
Yeah, I can't be any closer neighbor than he is.
That's right.
I just didn't know if that.
What happened? Besides, you'd sick your boys on me, and I'm.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is this is gonna go from Taylor Lane to Taylor Lane.
And then a little bit on Fay. There was a little bit on Fay that was 150,000. Where is Fay, guys? Tell me.
It's a dead end road. Right
Oh,
up
I
on.
see it, it's right here. It's right here. So from that stretch on Village, from Taylor Lane to Taylor Lane and Fay would be 450. It's concrete.
It could be.
And
It could
the
be.
engineering won't be 152 for those two sections.
It's.
Yeah, I wish we didn't, I'm gonna walk that tomorrow.
And I'm not against the concrete, I just know it's gonna cost us a lot of money
Oh, right.
wherever we do that at, and
But I'm
can we
also,
ever accomplish all of that?
well, I'm also of the opinion that why would you tear out an entire road if only sections of it are bad?
You go drive, like, it's amazing that in front of Smoke's house where there's two, I guess, sides, it's in pretty decent shape through there, and that's the oldest stuff. That's what's just mind-boggling to me.
Right, I'm not in favor of tearing up stuff that's still working, even if you have to piece it. So did anybody ever answer where we would go with the other 550?
I threw around some.
I think we should go to Northwoods Estates and do some piecing out there.
Well, wouldn't you stay in the same section?
I would say
Since
in
they're
the
gonna
same
form it
section.
anyway, there'll be a one lane, they'll finish like going on the east side, going around Taylor Lane and go whatever you can and stop there because they're gonna form it no matter what. And you're gonna have a one way on the old section to get in and out for the homes. So with that 500,000, you just do half of the street, not.
I know, but what are you gonna do with the other 500,000 that you're leaving on the table?
If you guys decide to do concrete, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Said use it on the roof.
Yeah,
What were you gonna say?
What are you gonna say?
If-
Mr.
and you have to
Superintendent?
forgive me if I didn't read through like you guys are, but if the numbers add up, you could do, like Zane said, it's not bad down by Daryl's house. You can start there at the corner, run up Village of Taylor Lane, and if you wanted to, if the money allowed, you could turn right there and head down to Fay Court, and that would be a stop. That would nail both of, in my opinion, the bad sections. And then you could spend the next 5 years doing a spot here, doing a spot there if you want. Or you can vote to asphalt it, and we'll go in and knock everything out and done. But with asphalt comes maintenance. So please keep that in mind also.
So you're saying Village Drive from Taylor Lane to Taylor Lane and then take that section between Village and Fay, which is
Yep.
Taylor Lane, and do that short section there. Right?
Yep, and that would get both of our basins installed, or should have both of our storm basins installed that we want to do. And both of the areas that we have to apply material to every year.
Well, that section looks just about as long as Fay Court, maybe just a hair longer than Fay Court. So we're probably gonna add another 200,000 to your project. So now you're at 450, 550, you're at 650 now. And you can apply for up to $1 million.
We could direct Landon to, go out there, with Corey's help and or whoever else would want to be involved, just identify, $1 million worth of the worst, and then apply for that in concrete. If you
And
want
also
to.
keep in mind, and if we do concrete, again, not to make it more difficult, but if we do concrete, Landon is not optimistic that he will have it all surveyed, engineered by the deadline.
That's right.
But that's all of it too.
So that's
That's all.
that's a driving force. If we don't,
Yeah, but that's all of it. That's all of these sections that we were talking about. There's 5 of them.
so
We're talking about 2.5 right now currently.
And I think their hangup is, like Zane said, yes, that's all of it, and that's true, but if I understood Landon correctly, it's getting the surveyor out, and getting that part of it done before that July deadline.
So whatever we can save in Village Drive by doing spot sections.
Right. This is what he's
You-
talking,
you like
this is
someplace
what
else.
he's talking about right now at about 650,000. Talking about all this went from here to there, from there to there, this section right here, and then down to Bay Court right here. That is about $650,000.
Mill and overlay.
That's concrete. That's about 650,000 concrete.
And it was 800 asphalt for the entire,
For the entire thing,
which would give us 200,000 left to
to do another
do
project.
some maintenance stuff.
Yeah, to do another project. I normally have an opinion, and now I'm so confused. Originally when we started this conversation, I thought all these roads were bad,
No,
okay? I didn't know that they weren't.
there's spots like in my neighbor's house. Theirs is starting to break up really bad. That whole road's cracked all the way down the center. And there's big chunks coming out of it now.
Well, that's what you said was good.
Well, for my neighbor's house, meaning the ladies that live between you and I, that's starting to break up pretty bad. And the front of your house is broken up, but that's because that gets so much water down there. Everything drains right down to that corner. And any cracks that develop in the concrete lets water come in under a road and freeze and heave. I have not had the energy or feel like walking Village of White Oaks and looking at the streets, but I know they're not all bad.
I still kind of like the idea if you're leaning concrete and, based on that there are, we could get by with sectional approach to the entire subdivision. Corey, please weigh in and correct me here if this is not the right thinking, that we could, get Landon to come back and say, we want to do a concrete project there. Give them a top number, 1 million, so that kind of for purpose of going for the grant, not that we would necessarily get the max, but we did this year, we got close to it. And so if we had a project that supported that, we don't know what other applications they're going to be fielding. If everybody has the same mindset, thinking, oh, their money's down and they're going to maybe lower their expectations. But, the state likes to reward, award the projects to those that have shown the ability to spend and spend appropriately. And as Corey pointed out, even the refund, which we do where the project comes in less, we have a good track record, and therefore,
I think it looks extremely well, despite, and one thing is, have to keep in mind too, yes, the numbers come low this year because contractor that mainly gets our projects is right here in town. There is going to come a time with the way they're growing that they're not going to either bid this or be able to bid our project. So I try to stay true to the engineer's estimate.
And you should.
Now, it's great when we save 200,000, but that company's growing and they're expanding. There's going to come a time, and they've told me this, there's going to come a time where we might not be able to bid it, so be prepared.
Right, but you also have to think about all the bids that we've opened
So
in all the years we've been here, and how much lower our local person is because of, the mobilization and the demobilization.
Right. So I think it looks good when we send back, let's, for sake of argument, $200,000. It looks good because we got our project done under budget, under engineering estimates and costs, and we sent money back to the state. So I don't look at that as, let's try to get the most we can, because there might come a year that Overs is so backlogged on things that they might not be able to bid it. And then we're going to be stuck with the $985,000 lower bidder that was, $200,000-$300,000 higher than what Overs was done.
Well, I take into consideration everything everybody said, and I was almost leaning the other direction, but I'm gonna go back to do it all in asphalt and spend money somewhere else.
Let's hear from her.
Abby? You still there?
Yeah,
You wanna share your thoughts?
I couldn't hear. I'm sorry. I heard Vicky say she was going back. Did you say to the asphalt proposal?
Yes, and trying to use the approximately 200,000 in another way for maintenance or whatever Corey can come up with if he can in the time allowed.
Coming into the meeting, that was my how I was going to vote. But then after hearing everything, I didn't realize that we had that third option, but I think that it's the most responsible to consider that for the future. But I'll lean on everybody else that has more stake in it, I guess, for if it makes sense to piecemeal it. I'm not an expert on roads, but coming into the meeting tonight, I had planned to vote for the asphalt option, given the difference in price. I know that, the longevity of the concrete is much more extensive, but we could potentially asphalt it twice and the repairs are simpler. Corey had talked about the care and maintenance for when it's winter out, having asphalt could be a better option. So I was leaning towards asphalt coming into the meeting.
But you've changed your mind or you're still there?
No, I mean, I guess I think it makes the most sense long term if this is the area. But again, I didn't know that not all of the road needed repaired, but I just think doing one area at a time with the projects makes sense if we wanted the roads to all be replaced in that neighborhood. But yeah, I guess, and I think the engineering costs and everything, all things considered, it seems like the most responsible.
The asphalt would do the entirety. From the Albion Road all the way over to the.
Not from Albion Road.
No,
Albion Road.
No,
Taylor Lane to
almost to
Taylor Lane.
almost to the Albion Road.
Taylor Lane's bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
Or the other divisions.
It's all outlined in red.
No, I looked at it, if you actually look closer, is that the concrete map?
This is just the period survey map for the concrete and asphalt. Are you telling me this map's not right? Come over here and look at my map.
I got one here.
Well, that red's, I think, just,
No, you see where that red's broke up right there on
Yeah, I
Village
do.
Drive? That's the new concrete we put in. And where it goes over on Scott Street,
yeah.
that's all new asphalt from the developer.
So the engineer says that everything outlined in red is part of the.
Well, that's what I'm assuming. Everything
That's
outlined
correct.
in red is on this proposal.
Yeah, that is correct. And
Or
whether it's
building
done
over.
in concrete or asphalt, the map's
Either
the
one.
same. The map delineates the area, whether it's concrete or asphalt,
That's
doesn't
right.
matter,
The map's the map.
but the map is saying, I believe.
And it does the entire area except for the one section that we already repaired. And then it looks like there must be a section before you get to the Albion Road that,
Yeah, there's a new section, I hadn't looked at the map, there's a new concrete section at the Albion Road from basically Albion Road up past the sign.
okay, that's it.
And then going up,
Right before
Village
you get
Drive.
Taylor.
yeah, and then you get down Taylor going up to where Phil Jacobs' house is new, and then a couple spots. are new.
Right,
And it's new in concrete, yes?
yes.
Well, yeah, it's 10 years old. Yeah, it's newer concrete.
Looking almost $2 million to do all that versus 812 for,
Right, for mill
Mill.
overlay, right?
that doesn't mean we have to do all that, right?
But I'm getting tired of talking about this, and we could be here till 9 or 10 o'clock if we don't make a decision.
Matt's buying supper.
Matt brought
I brought
compost.
mine, and it's gone.
He brought the compost.
You can actually see on good work. and
Look,
stuff.
look, we've been on this conversation too long. We have got to make a decision.
I make a motion.
Unless anybody has any other, plan B, C, D, or E, let us know right now. Bob, did he leave? Bob left?
Bob left.
Okay, I was gonna say, Bob, you got anything to say? All right, fine. You guys are making me do it, aren't you? You're gonna make me do it, aren't you? Darryl, do you wanna make a motion? You want me to do it?
I'll let you, our constituents.
Abby, do you wanna make a motion?
I can if you want me to.
Go ahead, Abby.
It's up to you. If you want.
And then,
I move that we move forward with well, I guess I don't know exactly how to make the motion, but with the proposal to redo the roads in Village of White Oaks with asphalt and hire Landon to engineer that project so that we can apply for CCMG grant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have to specify in there if we want anything above and beyond that to try to max out. No? Corey says no.
Well, we're gonna wanna add another $200,000 worth of projects.
Well, what about going from an inch and a half, you guys approved to, if you approve the asphalt and it's only an inch and a half thick, and we're thinking it should be 3 inches, there's gonna be double.
I don't ever remember us ever milling
Then we're
3
gonna
inches.
We're gonna go,
It's
back to
usually
back.
between 1 and 2, is it not?
1 and 2, you can't call it true. Once you set up that machine, you might hit a high spot where you get 3, you might come back where you
Like
get.
if you go down to Cougar Court and look,
Mhm.
in some spots it's an inch and in some spots it's a ½ inch. Because some of that is, you can see on the edge of the road how deep the asphalt is, right there on Cougar Court and
Like I
Jefferson.
said, when we did that on East Hazel, they got into it, well, they got to a point where they were starting to get down to where it was questionable, so they brought it back up.
Yeah. Right.
It's gonna be kind of on-site decisions on their part, but if Land sets the specs at, yeah, I was saying 3 inches, I probably had 3 inches in my head, but he said it's 1.5, most likely in the spots you're gonna get 2.
And frankly, I've never seen this geotextile thing on any proposal.
GeoGrid, or
I've never seen that before, so that is all new, that's new to me.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table, so let's take our vote. Gerald,
before I vote, you conflict of interest for me.
Unless you are gonna increase your pecuniary value of your income or your resources, no, I assume you just live out there, right?
I hang out there.
Yeah, well, you all touch all the roads in town, so it is not a legal conflict to vote on these roads.
Okay.
Okay, so let me give you just a little thing. Geotextile is a durable, permeable, synthetic fabric used in civil engineering. Used for filtration, separation, and drainage. Prevents mixing of subgrade soil and aggregate base in roads, driveways, and parking lots. Reinforces weak, soft, or unstable soil, preventing potholes and rutting. That's Google.
Abby took off.
It almost looks like Kevlar.
Abby jumped off.
She voted though.
She did.
Oh, wait, she hasn't voted, she just made the motion.
So you got a
This is
motion.
what it looks like.
I can.
It's geotextile. It almost looks like Kevlar. All right, so Abby made a motion and I seconded.
She's logging back in if you
Oh,
wait a
okay, I'm
second.
waiting on her. There you go.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor.
Nay.
Gerald,
Nay.
you're voting nay. Chris,
Aye.
Vicky, aye. Abby,
Aye.
Zane,
Passed.
okay, we have a passed motion. Corey,
So does that mean I can let Landon know?
Yes.
Okay. And, all right, that's all I need to know, to let Landon know what to do.
okay, that's the last item on new business unless someone has something else that they'd like to bring up.
I want some pizza combos.
Too late.
Not approve the accounts payable.
Okay,
Make a motion to approve the accounts payable and payroll vouchers as of March 5th and 10th, 2026.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, a second. I vote aye.
Aye. Zane votes aye.
Chris votes aye.
Daryl,
Harold votes aye.
Abby,
Aye.
passes 5-0. Entertain a motion for
So
adjournment.
move we adjourn.
Hey, Vicky,
Yeah,
I'll
I
second.
wasn't sure how to handle signatures. Can I appoint someone to sign on my behalf, or what do we need to do for that?
Do the /S/.
Yeah. She can physically sign it later, but nobody can sign for you, unfortunately.
Okay.
You can sign later. Carol
I
said,
won't. What?
Carol said you can sign later.
Oh, okay. All right.
okay, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move Bill and Daryl.
I move,
Okay,
or
do
he
I have to
moved,
pull that vote?
I second.
You too.
Okay,
You gotta
Chris
pull
said
that.
Aye.
Abby,
Zane,
Aye.
Vicky,
Going
aye.
home.
Okay,
It's a
thank
dumb
you.
law, I don't mind.
Take care.
I am so sorry that was.
Good night.
so absolutely
Thank you.
painful.
Enjoy the rest of your
You know
break.
what? That was hard.
Thanks. See ya.
It's tough.
What do you think?
Chris, come here, I'll tell you what, since we're offline, I'll tell you what I.
We're not offline yet.
See you all.
We're not yet.
Might want to hold
We
you.
can't talk about this.
Take care.
Yeah.